All right, part two. I'm assuming probably part two of the cull and purge and the studio setup and the pantry setup and all that jazz. I have to say it took me a week of really going through everything thoroughly, and then wiping shelves down and purging and sorting it all out. And then what I then did, which I probably didn't document, was I grouped things. So because I have my main kitchen inside the house and then there's a studio kitchen, I went through and everything that I was going to use in here I bought over here, whether it's pots or pans. So if you're doing this as a like a whole startup thing, and like from scratch, I would group things. So I put group just on the floor, literally nothing fancy, literally on the floor. I would put pots together, I'd put pans together, I'd put certain ingredients together. So for example, flours, then I would put pastas together, and then condiments. So then I kind of knew, all right, well, I've got a lot of like flours, like where are they gonna go? So that's what I did. I grouped things and then I went through the pantry. So I'm just gonna prop this somewhat here. It's not, so this is the pantry. As you can see, it's pretty big. This is bigger than the one from inside my house. So top shelf, I generally put appliances. As you can see, well, actually top shelf is up there. And I've just put like things that I barely use, like takeaway containers, things that I don't need like every second of the day. Obviously there's an ice cream maker, there's like, you know, attachments to my KitchenAid for the pasta, like the pasta attachments. Then we go down another layer, another shelf, and I've got appliances all here. So I've got my slow cooker, I've got my my food processor, I've got a spare bowl for my mixer, my stick blender, and my vacuum seal. Now they're just appliances that I use frequently. Obviously inside my house I do have an additional like pie maker, but no, I don't have too much. Like you might have, I don't know, like an air fryer or a pressure cooker or whatever. So I kind of put it there so it's reachable, but it's not at eye sort of level. These two shelves here, let's move it down here. I've got these canisters. I'll bring the camera a little bit more forward so you can see. So this requires a bit of back and forth. So in regards to the brands, I just went to Victoria Basement. I don't know if every state have them. Kmart have them. Everywhere has them. You can just search these canisters online. Victoria Basement do them pretty cheap, discounted. That's why I kind of went there. And what I've done is I've just arranged it to kind of suit my style of cooking. That's one thing that I want to kind of stress enough. So I don't necessarily look at Pinterest necessarily too much, because I always look at something from a functionality perspective. What are things that I need to cook and use and cook with? Because that's going to determine, you know, where I place the item, how big the container is. I do want to stress as well, something that I learned the hard way is that these are, for example, 1.8 litre. Now, they don't actually fit like 1.8 litre because you've got this space that the seal covers. So if you, I remember once when I bought, I was like, yeah, I have 1 kilo bags of flour. That should be enough. It wouldn't fit the whole bag. So I always had to get that extra bit more. So that's pretty much, you know, 1.8, that's a kilo bag of flour there. Then at the back, let me just show you here. There's like a little, can you see the black step? That's so we can prop it up a little bit. And that way, you know, it's at eye level. I've ordered some labels as well. Another tip that I do is, as you can see, so this is something that people ask me all the time. When I'm arranging it, I kind of just use a whiteboard marker, and I've just randomly wrote what I probably will use what canister for. That way I kind of know, right, these are the kind of ingredients, where I'm going to group them. I don't bake as often as I cook, so I put all the baking stuff towards the back, because I kind of have to maneuver a few of the forward canisters to get to the back ones. However, I don't use those ingredients like almond meal, you know, icing sugar on the daily, so I'm happy for them to go further at the back, whereas towards the front I need more of, you know, my flours, my rice, my grains, all that kind of thing. So I've just kind of done that. inside the house, I do have extra, like a little extra basket that I put snacks. I've got the cereal canister as well, so they're different things. Obviously this is a studio setup, so it's going to be a lot different. I don't have like, you know, rice bubble containers here. Don't need that. And then what I've done, let's pop this back down. I've repurposed a lot of things that I had. So as you can see here, I've got a tub. Now, the most important thing that I kind of want to say is that you want a tub for the overflow. So everything that you are filling up in these canisters up the top, sometimes there's going to be a little bit extra left behind, and you want somewhere to put them, because otherwise where are you going to put these bags? You want them neatly, and you want it in one spot so that you know that when you're going to go do your you know, when a canister is running low, for example on rice, you're going to go to a tub like this and you're going to check if there's anything in there. If there is, then you top the canister up. You might want to buy a spare bag, or you might be like, I don't have any left, so I've got to buy some extra, and it keeps it all neat and tidy. So I put all my, because I am cooking a lot with pasta and stuff, I don't have a dedicated canister for pasta because I've got so many, it's just pointless, right? And depending on the type of pasta that I want to cook and experiment, recipe develop with, will distinguish, you know, I don't want to open a bag and put it in a canister of, like, for example, shells, if I realize that, you know, a particular recipe that I want to develop wants farfalle or linguine or whatever, right? So this, I've got, you know, my rissonis, my pastas. If there's any leftover flour or whatnot, I'll put it in here. That maybe didn't fit in that container. However, I did buy a canister big enough. Here I've got all my kind of oils, you know, my cooking sake, my red wine vinegar, my white wine vinegars, you know, my sesame oils, things that I, you know, the bottles, I want to keep them all in here. It's easy. They're things that I probably, you know, sometimes, like my olive oils more near the cooking. I'll show you the other section in another video. So that's that. And then over on this side, and again, these are just cheap tubs from, you know, Kmart or whatever. I had them, I just used what I had. I didn't go out and buy anything, and that, I think that's the beauty about, you know, culling and purging, because you can discover what you have and reuse it in a way that, yeah, maybe it doesn't look like a Pinterest pantry, but it's you're reducing waste and you're repurposing into something. So this one's from Kmart. These are just, I'm sure, from Kmart as well. These have wheels as well, so I haven't fully arranged it yet. As you can probably see, there are some things that probably don't go in there. They're my tin and my jar items. So my jarred jalapenos, my passatas, my tin, you know, beans, corn, like whatever is, you know, jars of olives, that's all in there as well. So my tin stuff, my pastas, and my overflow of like your flours and whatever, and my bottles of oils and vinegars and all that kind of stuff. And then down here, I don't have the luxury of this inside my house. I've kind of just propped it on another bench just purely for space, but because I do have this space, I've got one dedicated for potatoes. This one will be my onions. I haven't gone grocery shopping yet, so onions, my brown and red onions, and this one my garlic, so my organic garlic. I've just put it all in here. And the bottom shelf, because I have the privilege of the space, is just my props for videos, like props for photography and whatnot. So that's about it. It's super easy. I kind of want to just, you know, I can't stress enough to think of the functionality. You know, the main, I would say 2 to 3 shelves will be appliances, then it'll be your canisters or jars. You could repurpose jars of your flours, your everyday cooking things, and then I definitely can't recommend enough the overflow tub, the oils, and, you know, your jars. You can put these on like a shelf. Again, it depends on how much you cook. If you are a big cook and you have lots of stock, then sure, you might want tubs. If you're not a big cook, you know, you might want to buy those little step shelves, like similar to the black one that I showed you up the top, and just put your tinned items there. Really, that's the most important thing, is when you're culling and cleaning out things, you know, chuck out what you don't want or give it away or whatever. check the expiry of items while you're at it, and then group things, because when you group things like your tin items, you know, your pastas, your flours, your baking stuff, you can get a visual of your style of cooking, what you need, what you have, and how this is going to work. You know, there's no point of looking at something cute online and seeing that these little jars of spices when you don't really, you maybe only work with 5 spices. Well, then why are you going to go get this big spice drawer for your style of cooking? So anyway, that's it. I might give you a rundown of some other sections, but apart from that, all I want to say is if you're watching this, I hope that it helped you. And now I'm getting really effing uncomfortable. But if you are listening, you can obviously watch this on YouTube and get a visual aspect of my pantry. But, you know, it's make it functionable above, and then, you know, aesthetically it will look nice. It will look nice and tidy, and you can always buy, you know, color coordinated stuff and cute things from like IKEA. I mean, if I didn't have these baskets down here, I probably would have gone and bought cute ones from IKEA. But I'm just using what I have for now, getting a feel of it. And over time, while you cook, you will get an idea and you'll feel like, oh, this is not working, this is working. And yeah, so anyway, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm not a professional, but this is just purely from a cook